Here we are again, ladies and gentlemen, in Orange Room. I am your host, Mr. Cockery. Yes, I'm flying solo today, and I'm just using that little rascal amp right there. That's my old Pro Junior. Every now and again when I'm doing my little daily tickle that I might do for the Patreon thing or for Instagram or whatnot, sometimes I just plug right into the old Pro Junior and turn it up because it does sound pasty. Although I am going into the Koch Monster, the smaller one, and I just got a little bit of slapback. So this is just the amp all by itself. Cleans up nice, doesn't it? Hit the little slap back. It sounds good. Todd Roy says, "Hi, Greg. I'm in awe of your stamina." Well, thank you. Doing live shows, gigging seemingly nonstop, and also doing the awesome podcast. Well, thank you. I do try to keep a little busy, which is good. You gotta keep busy. Well, what's nice about me just doing the little amp today, people are wondering where people are. Dylan moved, so he lives across town. Not that that precludes us from doing live shows, but he lived a lot closer. And Turn of the Burner is very busy with his food truck business, especially on Fridays. And so instead of just playing replays when the boys aren't available, I thought maybe I'll just start doing some solo things again and answer some questions and show some stuff and so on and so forth. Lars says, "Do I like Marcus King?" Yes, I do. He's quite the talented lad. He's a singing fool. He plays great, some cool tunes. I dig him. He's for reals. He's for reals, that Marcus King. Anyways, what's nice about this scenario is that amp's not really all that loud. In this room, when I have, the drums roaring and the bass roaring, I'm using the bigger amps with the pedals, and it gets loud in here. So I've got some earplugs that I wear, and then ear goggles on top of that. But with this, it's not that loud, so I can and not have to kill myself. Robert Yorth says, did I say that right? Yorth? You are awesome. Well, thank you, sir. I feel like my playing has reached a plateau. What would you suggest I do to improve? Well, what's an interesting thing that I always like to say to folks? I say folks. I say peeps. You should always just try to have fun and make music with the skills you have in the moment, as opposed to as guitar players, I think as musicians in general, as humans in general, but particularly as guitar players. I think we're always thinking, at some point on down the line, I'm going to be worth a crap. And there's nothing stopping you from making delicious music in the moment with whatever arsenal you have. And I'm sticking to that. A lot of times I listen back to stuff and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I prefer the simpler stuff all the time, especially when I hear myself play. It's like my bailiwick, if you will, is the vibrato, the phrasing, and the tone stuff. And sometimes, in the moment, you're playing faster stuff and so on and so forth. And some of it's cool, some of it turns out cool, but I actually prefer to listen to the bendier things and more the phrasings and the emotive things as opposed to the speedier things. But on the other hand, the internet seems to like dirtier tones and faster licks. But that's always going to be the case. But I think from an artistic point of view, if you can deliver good vibrato with a tasty tone and with some good timing, that's all you need to make some great music. You want to add stuff on top of that, that's well and good. But if I'm doing a little shuffly thing, I did a thing on Instagram the other day, and then I did it on my Patreon thing as well. Is I talk about the idea of just always responding to what you just played, and it's not necessarily licks. It could be just an attitude. It could be a sound. But like if I'm doing a blues, okay. So if let's do a thing in E, maybe. So I might do. See what I'm saying? Something along that nape of the neck. So, Reverend single cut Gristle fiddle possible. We'll see what happens. I enjoy licks that are good for the soul. I don't care about speed at all. Originality and style plus cool techniques involved always make for a good lick. You're a good lick machine, man. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Lars asks, how big is the pick that I'm using? I use these Dunlap Prime Tone 3 1.4 millimeter picks. And they make them for me in orange. I'm actually going to have these available for next time you come out to a gig. I'll have orange picks for sale. But yeah, they're kind of like Jazz 3s, but they're not as bulbous, and I just like a little bit of a tread on there to keep my finger from squidiggling. Nothing wrong with a soft pick at all. As a matter of fact, there's something to be said for, there was a time where I went back to Fender mediums because they definitely add to the sound. There's a flap that happens with a more flexible pick. But for the majority of my techniques, if you will, the thicker pick seems to do the trick. Oh, the thicker pick seems to do the trick. Was that really all in E? Yes, it was for the most part. I did, I kept it there. I got a little bit outside, but I have a tendency to do that. I'll hear things a little weird, but hey, you know what? There is different strokes for different folks. Different strokes for different folks. But again, that's just that little Pro Junior. Mike Hansen says, hey, Greg, looking forward to seeing you guys in New Glarus next weekend. Yeah, that should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that. That's in New Glarus, Wisconsin. Is just outside of Madison, for those of you who don't know. And my buddy Jimmy Vagley puts on a little festival every year. His band is playing. My buddy Stephen Hull is going to be there. A bunch of other people. Joanna Connor is going to be there. It's going to be delicious. Texas Blues Alley in the house. Greetings and welcome. I'm using a little Pro Junior today. I know I bought this used at a little shop. I forgot how long ago. And then I gave it to my daughter Grace because she started playing bass. I got a little, there's a rhyme again. Good God, it just doesn't stop. I got her a little Reverend bass, one of those Mike Watt basses. And when she moved out to Vermont, she had it there with that amp. And then she ended up moving to California, and then she was up in Oregon. And she had that amp the whole time. And then she moved back home for a minute, and I grabbed the amp again. I just plugged it in. It hasn't been retubed, nothing. But, man, it's a snotty. And, of course, if I press that button in, I get a little bit more heat. Brady Roseberry, I like that name. Brady Roseberry. He asks the question in the song Drowning on Dry Land, which sometimes I mistakenly say drowning because words are hard. I do make a train horn sound, and I have to say that I got this. I'm sorry, I'm going to do a brief little segue. Someone asked what kind of pickups on here. These guitars are all loaded with my Fishman Fluence Gristle tone pickups. That's why they sounds damn good, and they're quiet. The train horn sound is done. I got this actually from my buddy John Paris, but he did it with a whammy bar. But what I do is actually pre-bend it. So if I'm up here in E, I'll show you it. Let me get to the, oh shit, what do we got? Sometimes this freaking thing drives me crazy. There we go. All right, so if I'm up in the key of E, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the root here, root there. I'm going to grab the 6, and then the flat 5th there. Okay? Does that make sense? So I'm on the D string at the 14th fret, the G string at the 15th fret with my pinky, 14th fret on the B string, and on the high E string I'm at the 12th fret. And I'm going to pre-bend that rascal, meaning just kind of lift it all up a little bit, and then I'm going to grab the volume control. So on and so forth. Kind of cool. That's kind of cool. It's for the kids. They're all hopped up on acid. I don't know if they're hopped up on acid. I can't speak to it. That's a Bill Kirchinism. Sound like a freight train coming, or a truck. So, there you go. All that kind of stuff. It's good, clean fun. Good, clean fun. Why don't I come to Italy? I'm coming to Italy in October again. I think I'm mostly going to be up in the northern vestiges, but those dates will be on the website soon, friends. I'm going to be in Germany for a minute. I'm actually going to Belgrade for one day, and one day only, with Koch Marshall Trio. And then we're going back to Italy. And then we're going to the UK. We're working on the UK dates. I haven't gotten any dates yet from the UK, but we are coming. We're going to fly over there. I know the beginning date is October 26th, and we're going to stay there as many as 14 days. We'll see. We'll see what our buddy Dudley Ross comes up with. Dudley Ross. Drade, what's Slim Jim lick that gets you moved every time you hear it? Hendrix lick? They're all of them. But every time he does the, you know. And then like all those jingles. So on and so forth. Jimmy Land. Jimmy Land. Greg, advice for an old guy with bad practice habits. Just practice every day, Walt. Practice every day. Petrus says play Absinthe. I haven't played that one in a while. Paul, I would love to come up to Scotland. I'd love to get to Ireland as well. I've not yet been. All right, I am plugged into the Cockness Monster, which is this rascal right here. And all I have on right now is a little bit of, it's freaking out again. This camera freaks out, gets all acidy, poltergeisty. I'm going to hit the harmonic vibrato known as the harmonious monk. And then maybe come on over here. just like that. So that is a tune of mine called a little thing called Absinthe. So and that one goes. You can do all these little trilly things that are kind of fun. You can't do that. That's E flat over G to a B diminished. That little hammer on. And then when it goes into the second time through, it goes to the chorus. So that is just a C sharp 9, but I'm putting the G sharp in the bass. And then F minor. And then B flat 7 with a raised fourth. And then B diminished. C sharp or C minor 7. Then E flat over G again. That one's complicated. And then that sus chord, diminish. And then back to the minor. And then, Can you dig it? I got the Zeppelin. I got the Mighty Zeppelin shirt on. Someone asked if I had seen the Zeppelin movie. Yeah, I saw it twice in the theater. I saw it in the IMAX, which was awesome. And then I saw it with Dylan. We went and saw it in the IMAX. And then a week later, I took my wife and my 2 daughters. I said, listen, you just need to go. You need to go and see this movie. Like, do we really have to? I'm like, trust me, you're going to dig it. And afterwards, the girls were like the biggest Zeppelin fans. They did all the homework on who was who and who did what. Have I been to Norway and played? Yes, I was there on like 3 or 4 different occasions back in the day when I used to do Fender stuff. We came with the band once with Malford, and we played in Oslo. We played in Trondheim. We played a couple other places too, but I can't remember. Someone wants that doggone Godzilla riff again. That one's always a beast. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? I helped you load out like 2 items at Peoria at Kenny's West Side. LOL, what a great show. Well, thank you, Matt. That was fun we had down there at Kenny's West Side. I think we might be down there in the not too distant future again. So, yeah, if you're enjoying some of these lesson segments, I do little like 8-minute morsels on Patreon. And boy, it's a bargain and a half. Dylan was saying, dude, if you're going to post every day, they're getting way too much for the $3. I'm like, I was like, well, we get 10,000 people on there at $3, then it's all worth it. So we've got a few hundred now, so we're working on and getting as many people as possible. Your version of Red House is my favorite. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Speaking of Leviathans, how do you play Moby Dick? You know what? I don't think have I figured that one out. Let me get to one thing first. Someone's asked me to play Sweet Tea, which is a tune of mine. So that little thing there, first of all, I start out with that E, it looks like an E minor 7 flat 5, but it's a C9 chord. And I pre-bend it, and then I add a little bit of that volume slur. That's kind of a fun one. Can you dig that? Those are just sixths. This little thing here is a cool little cadence. It's like I'm doing a B7 over a C. Or you get like a B flat 7. Or a B flat 9. And then to the C, kind of a little. And then I do this 13th chord of F, but I have the 7th in the bass. I pre-bend that rascal. When it goes to the 5. When it goes down from the 5, I go F, E flat, D, D flat, back to C. Bring It To You says, fellas, I want to announce I just purchased my dream guitar at Charles Whitfield Telly. I had one of those guitars. He makes a very nice guitar. Charles Whitfield. Those are very nice guitars indeed. Luke says, hey, Greg, I just wanted to let you know that your frequency is reaching the Pacific Northwest. I enjoy tuning in whenever I can. Good vibes to Gristle. Well, thank you very much. We're hoping to get back out there soon. Mark Nicholas says, Greg, how do you go about finishing parts? How do you choose between phrase and chordal options? Well, they're always kind of in flux. Like when I come up with parts, I'm always modifying them. So a lot of times I'll hear the tune again and be like, oh, I do it completely different now. But I come up with the basic premise of the arrangement, but they're always open for interpretation. But I guess when I finally get them down to the point where I like them, there's just a finishing process that I do where it's like, okay, this is conjuring up the melodic stuff I want, and there's enough other fodder going on between the main melodic segments to kind of fill up the space in a tasteful way, hopefully, and then I move on from there, if that makes sense. It was fun with that tune. We recorded that years ago. That was Dylan's first session he ever played, by the way. That's going back quite a few. I think it was 2013. That's on their Unrepentant record, that version of it. Play Carlos Dale, man. I haven't played that one in forever. Thanks for requesting that one. I haven't played that one in a long time. Sorry, I had to play it right. Kind of. Do you think it's hard to play with sunglasses on stage when it's dark in the club and you're tap dancing on pedals? Yes, Paul. It is difficult, but I enjoy it because since I don't party anymore at all, it's the closest I get to getting buzzed. I'm in the twilight realm of my own secret thoughts when I've got those glasses on. So that's good, clean fun. Seth Loveless in the house. What's going down? Seth Loveless in the house. What's going down? Petra says, the Grip album is your best one, in my opinion. Well, thank you. That's quite a batch of tunes on there. It was that came out in 2001. There were, I think, 5 new tracks on it, and the rest were a compilation of my stuff up to that point. Which is, that was on Steve Vai's level. Those 2 records, The Grip and Radio Free Gristle, they had some moments for sure. Otto von Fledermaus. Sorry, Otto, I'm ruining your name. But my name gets ruined all the time, so welcome to the club. Any tips for right and left hand coordination? You know what? It just reps. Just keep playing at all times, and those things just kind of work out. It's just the more you play, the more the stuff will just pan out. I mean, I know that sounds trite, but it's true. I mean, you're better off playing a little bit every day than saving it up for the weekend. I know you probably all have heard that before, but yeah, it's a good one. Bill Montgomery says, no cover band is ever going to play Carlos Dale, holy moly. Yeah, it's a beast of a song. We used to play it out. We used to play Zoiks. I had my B-Bender Telly. We'd play that one. And that Draw My Number song, that's another hard one. It's a beast of a song. What's another part? No. Can't remember it. It comes and it goes. But yeah, there's a lot of complicated tunes on those 2 records. They're definitely savage. Eric Gale, what's going on? Great to see you. Bradley Bitzer says, would be great to record a tune with you. Love the chicken picking video. Still can't do it. Yeah, chicken picking is always, it's just, I just like adding it into that little. Chicken picking is good, clean fun for the kids. Matt Houston says, hi, Greg. Is there any difference between the luxury drive and the Gristle King versus early Yarnig and the T-Rex luxury drives? Well, you'd have to ask Tim. I know that there were slight tweaks made over the years. What those tweaks were, I couldn't tell you. There's also, Tim, so you can buy the Gristle King, which has the luxury drive and the diabolical Gristle tone manipulator on board. But a luxury drive only version is available through Mythos pedals. They do a Tim devised pedal because he was Zach Broyles from Broyles. Zach from Mythos was a huge Gristle King fan, so that's why they decided to do that. What are the fundamentals of music theory for you, Greg? Well, I did go to school for music, but I learned the modes early on and figured out how to use those. harmonic minor, melodic minor, whole tone diminished, that kind of stuff. All that kind of harmonic knowledge was useful in terms of, knowing how to navigate chord progressions from an improvisatory standpoint, but also in composition as well. Rob McCready, what's going on, Daddy-O? Rob McCready, what is going down? Robert Staton says, for slide playing, do you play mostly pickless in that scenario? It looks like maybe you're deadening. Yeah, what's kind of funny is that again, the internet is a wild place. I posted a video, and it's also on my Patreon, but I posted a video of me playing a pick, playing slide with the pick in standard tuning, which I never do anymore. I usually use my fingers all the time. But I purposely did it with a pick to make it easier. And I posted I tried to make a very, very easy kind of introductory, this is how you could play a blues in open G. And of course, some guy had to pipe in, well, for one thing, you shouldn't be using a pick. I'm like, oh, does anyone do any research before they speak? Or do they just go, I'm just going to knee-jerk react to everything, and I'm going to start the clock with this? And obviously, I've been around for a while. You're looking at it like, hey, well, gee, he might have done some things and like recorded some stuff. Maybe I should look and see before I extrapolate. Nope, says Internetsman. I'm going to cough right in. But yeah, so I don't really use a pick. If I'm doing some kind of open tuning thing, that's maybe if I was doing a solo thing and it demanded more of getting a little bit more snap with a pick. But most of the time, I just, even when I'm in standard tuning, especially when I'm in standard tuning, but in open tunings, I always use my hand, my right hand. Now, for this instance, I probably will hit that second button, or the second button, I'll hit the second voice via the button here to get a little bit more. Just kind of messing around with various different things. But you can see with my right hand, I'm always muting. The basic template, is I have my third finger on the high E string, middle finger on the B string, first finger on the G string, and then the thumb just drapes over. And so that's technically how I mute all the strings, but I do move around a little bit depending on what I'm doing. Can you dig it? Will you dig it? Now, I do like using glass slides. That was the other thing the guy said. You should use a thicker slide, not those flimsy Coracetin bottles. It's true. Thicker slides will deliver a more robust tone. The reason why I like the flimsier slides is that you have more dynamic control. You can really, you can have dynamic control with whatever you use. For me, I like using these. You can use whatever you want. Same with what finger you use your slide on. That's another thing. Sometimes you're like, don't use the third finger on your slide. Like, you do you, bro. You do you. I'm going to do my thing. And whatever is comfortable for you is the bottom line. I hate to be, I'm not going to be real dogmatic about how you play slide. After all, you're basically replicating what initially was someone putting a string against a corrugated shack and using a Coke bottle to get some pitches, and all of a sudden now we're worrying about, the proper playing through Dumble amps at $100,000. It's just crazy, but it is what it is. Am I right or am I right? Question. Let's see what we got here. Same man, it takes so much discipline to do something. It's like instead of going back, Carson Green in the house. Matty K says things. High action does help, but I just use, I have higher action on the Gristle Master, or the Gristle 90 that I bring on the road to me that's in Open G. I do have the action up a little higher so that it does not bottom out as much, but I recorded you with Hendrix Drummer in Milwaukee many years ago. You said if you could get a copy. Do you still have that tape? I think I do somewhere. I need to find that. Yeah, Buddy Miles. And T. Lavitz was also on that gig. So it was the Tone Controls playing at the Bradford Beach Club. And Buddy Miles sat in and T. Lavitz at the same time. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. Do you play any pedal steel? I really don't. I mean, I do some kind of like. All those kind of stuff, but yeah, I don't really play any pedal steel itself. I play B-bender telly. The only reason why I don't gig with it anymore is because it hurts my back. It's the right amount of weight in the wrong place. And when I use that doggone thing, it hurts my doggone back. Thanks for letting me try the new S-style of yours, Greg. I still have not seen one in the wild other than yours. Oh, you're welcome, Eric. It's a good sounding guitar. You'll hear how much meatier it is than this guitar. Check it out. If I take this, do you have a B-bender guitar? Yes, I've got a really cool custom shop. Fred Stewart made, master-built telly with a B-bender. Parsons White B-bender. Any chance of a collaboration recording with Tom Bukovac? I think that's possible. I think that's very possible indeed. Let's see what we got. Sure, much fatter than I'm just playing through this little amp today. I'm playing through that little Pro Junior, which is a beastly creature. I'm going to grab the old... I'm not touching the controls on the amp at all. I'm just leaving it hot and juicy. weird. All right. I liked it. Someone asked if I moved the volume control. Yes, that's what's cool about this guitar. One of the many things is I moved the volume control from here to there so I can do volume swell. Cool, right? Can you dig it? Now this has the Fishman Fluence humbuckers in it, and they sound excellent. And again, I'm just going right into that little Fender Pro Junior amp back there just for shits and giggles. Oh, it cleans up so nice. No, it's not a new Pro Junior. I've had this one forever. Matter of fact, before we went live, I was like, that's a different speaker in there. What is that? Because I got it used someplace. I've had probably, I don't know how many. I won't estimate how many Pro Juniors I've had over years, but I've had at least 5. And I had a bunch of tweed ones from back in the day, and I recorded a bunch. The original Spank It that was on the grip, the leads are all Pro Junior on that. There's a 335 answering a telly straight into the Pro Junior, going back and forth. That's what I used for a lot of my lead stuff. I'm back in the day. But there is I just looked it up right before I went live. I don't even know who makes it, but it's a Studio Pro WH10 speaker that's in there, and it sounds good. Do I think a new Pro Junior would be as good? Well, I was tempted because they just reissued the tweed ones again, and I saw one at a buddy of mine's store, and I was thinking about plugging it in. But man, this sounds good, right? hell of it. Oh, fuck off. Sorry. Wow, I used inappropriate language. Look, it's about that time for us to roll anyways. It's on top of the hour. Thank you all for tuning in. It was a fun day of just kind of messing around. I kind of like these little solo things. I can just answer questions and play some stuff. But not to say that the boys won't come back again at some point in time, but everyone's got stuff going on. So it's easy for me to just go in my garage and turn everything on, and away we go. So thanks so much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check that website for details. If you haven't joined the Patreon, please do. I put like little fun little morsels on there every day. Try to. Just Greg Koch Music, or I think Maddie K posted the link there. And also, FYI, I just got 100 of the little heat pedals. They were discontinued for a while. I had a collaboration that I did with the Andertons for a little pedal. It's one of those small, like half pedal concoctions. But what's cool about it is it's just a little bit of overdrive. So it's just, but it sounds creamy, but it's not a lot. So the Gristle King's definitely got more overdrive. So there's the clean boost and there's the overdrive. It is the Gristle King. It's a separate beast. And then of course there's the on the Koch Nest Monster and on the Koch Nest Monster Supreme. There's also the Lucy Dreamer, which can get a little pastier, more tube screamery. The little heat is like a $60 pedal that just does a very nice transparent overdrive. You can just put it in front of any amplifier and just hit it if you just want, what? A little heat. So I'm going to have those on the website soon. We'll probably send out a little email blast, but stay tuned for that. There will be little heats. There will be little heats. All right, my friends, take care of yourselves.